Welcome gamers, it's time for another NAG show, and in this one, we get a little controversial. Stay tuned. What a crazy few weeks it's been, and it's all to do with Diablo Immortals and how they are clearly ripping gamers for every cent they can. But the gamers seem to love it, and we're trying to find out what's going on. We check it out later in the show. I also spoke with DJ Rob Forbes about his love for Apex Legends, and then caught up with Shani to speak to her about the antics she gets up to with her Sims. It's been fascinating me for years. So, without further delay, let's get into it. Logo. Mr. Rob Forbes, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm very well, friend. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate the time.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So, you're a bit of an Apex Legends player, and I wanted to just kind of talk to you a bit about that, because I know Apex Legends players have a bit of obsession with that game. I guess we all do with our own titles, but what is the fuss about? What are people raving on about that game? I don't get it.
It's just fun, man. Like, PUBG it's cool and all. I find the time sink like long, getting into games long, looting long, like things take time. And if you get ripped early, then it's like the whole re-getting into the game thing. And I must admit, like, I've played Fortnite about twice and I've looked at it a lot, and like it doesn't appeal to me. It's too cartoony. I don't like the building elements of it at all. So when it comes to BR games, like Apex just works so well. I love the ping system. I love the communication. Like, it's just such a cool game. It's been well thought through, and it just works so nicely. I find it quite balanced. I find it, infuriating when you drop in with randoms in a squad, and it's fine. It works. It does what it says on the tin. If you get a reasonably good team together, you're in with a good shot to win. Like, I love it, dude. It's so much fun.
I mean, that sounds like the same fun I have with my battle royale games. What is the thing? I mean, is it the classes? Is it the style? Is it the action or the way the guns work? I mean, there's a lot of little things in there, right?
Yeah, I really like the graphic style of the game. Like, I really, really do. I find it fits that vibe. It's just cartoony enough. I like the physics of it. I like the map layouts, apart from Olympus, which is the worst fucking map in any game ever created. I hate it so much. But other than that, the maps are great. Like, I like the looting system. I like the leveling up your gear system. I like what's there to find. It feels good. The crafting is well constructed. Like, it's just a fun game. Auxiliaries, like, you can tell the difference between players who know what they're doing and who don't, how people use nades, when people use nades, what loadouts people end up with. Like, it feels cool, man. It's nice to have a strategy in your head and know that you can pull things off.
I think this is what it's for me about games, and why I love chatting to people like you about games that I don't play. I can feel that same passion for the titles that I enjoy, because it kind of there's a lot of correlation between kind of the fun you have and kind of how you jam with your mates and the squad you have and the tactics you have, especially with Battle Royale. Yeah. But I do think Fortnite does get a bit of a bad rap. I mean, especially now with the building mode is an optional. Most people play no building mode.
Yeah, I must admit, when I heard
jamming
they took
it a bit,
out,
and
when I heard they took that out, I was keen to give it a go.
And coming from jamming PUBG heavy for many years, I find that cartoony aspect quite refreshing now. It's weird. I was playing a bit last night, and it's the new season's out, and it's very colorful, and it's very all fun and games. And I was thinking, like, this is the reason why this is an enjoyable moment on why people like this game. It's a fun, relaxing game in a sense. I mean, yes, you do smash your keyboard from time to time, but it doesn't look as serious as the other games do.
PUBG feels serious, man. It feels like people are, like it's very simulatory. And I get that some people dig that, some people love COD. Not for me. I want to feel like I'm in the game. Yeah, I lean much more towards like Apex and Overwatch than I do towards COD and PUBG. And I think that's just a style preference thing. Some people will like some people will like the others. I like the fact that, if you're going for one of these simulated war games, like the weapons don't give me the range that like the Apex weapons do. Like the energy weapons are fun, the shotguns are fun, and they're situational, and you know what you need in what situation. It's not just like, here's another submachine gun. It's going to be useful over medium to short range. Cool. Like, we have 1,000 of these. Like,
and don't give me accuracy drops. Just give me if my sight, or don't give me too much accuracy in that bullet drops. I'll lift my sniper scope a bit higher to compensate for the distance, but I don't want any wind. I want a quick, good time. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, I don't need that in my life. And I like that some weapons are straight line weapons. Like the charged rifle goes from point A to point B. cool, you can see it coming, but like I must admit it's one of my favorite things to run lately in loadouts, just because it's so like it's such a nice way to put pressure on people. You know, if your team gets into a bit of a position, if you're rotating from point A to point B, and suddenly some bullets come whizzing past, if you can spot where it's coming from, like a charged rifle very quickly like puts people, okay, I'm gonna go and take some cover because this thing hits hard. And it's nice to use in like, you know where I am, but I'm gonna tell you that I've got a big gun so that you can fucking move so that we can get some cover. You know, so it's nice to have options of what you want to use when. And I must admit, the introduction of the car was game changing for me. It's my favorite weapon by a country mile. I know a lot of people don't like it because the recoil pattern's a little bit weird, but I've managed to suss that one out more than I think I'm more accurate with that gun than I am with anything else in the game, which is great.
Nice.
I love the fact that you can load out, you know, between like heavy and light ammo and magazines. So your looting is much faster and much easier. And it's just easy to pick stuff up and then roll with it. So I normally roll car, and then depending on the game, either like if the team looks good, if we get into sort of our first fight and we rip, then I'm like, cool, then I'm going to go for something closer range, maybe an R99 or a shotgun or something. Although I must admit, the latency in South Africa is just enough that like, if you're one of those people who relies on hitting every shot, I'm not that accurate, you know, so single fire guns like the wingman and stuff are not for me. I don't hit enough. I need a bit of spread and a bit of burst. So, but you get into the short range fights, and then either R99 and shotgun carries really well with the car, or if we are taking things a little bit more slowly and I want a bit more range, then I don't mind a sniper rifle here and there. But I've started running lately the car flatline combo with a bit of a scope on the flatline. It's not the most accurate gun over long range, but like medium range, it hits hard enough that also it puts people to ground and makes them want to hide instead of engage. And that bit of extra time is so useful. So yeah, I'm like, I like the guns, man. I like the variation of what you can do.
You've just officially made me scared to ever come up to you in a game of Apex Legends. But now, on the topic of this game, the mobile version was launched recently, and I know we spoke about it a while ago, and I know you haven't had a chance to play it yet. But what is your opinion on kind of ports like that and being able to play a game that you love on mobile?
No, I think it's absolutely great. I think it's important that these games get ported into these kind of places and give people a chance to play. And a platform they have. You know, not everyone can run a high-spec PC. They're fucking expensive. Not everyone has a new PlayStation. Not everyone's internet connection is fast enough. But phones do order this well. And I know other things, you know, Fortnite Mobile is ported really well. It does, you know, it's a great game. And I'm looking forward I'm actually going overseas for about a month now. And I'm definitely going to install Apex Mobile before I go. And just, you know, I mean, you can use it in the airport. You can use it when you're traveling on the train. Like, it's something you can do. And I'm definitely going to give it a go, and I'm keen to play it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the idea of mobile games, and especially the titles we're seeing now. I mean, Diablo, yes, is now all talk about, you know, the pay for play, and yes, I don't like that, but the technology, I look at a game and say, if this is possible, imagine what we're going to see in 6 months. Somebody else, an indie developer coming out with a real good independent game that can show some good technology renders.
Well, I'm also, like, I'm not the kind of player that the franchises make money off. You know, I've never paid for a cosmetic in any game ever, and I'm not about to start.
I've never bought a battle
pass. I've never bought a battle pass for Apex. You know, I've played every single season so far, but I've never, you know, unlocked everything by buying the battle pass for that season. Like that's not me. So,
but it shows you don't have to. You don't have to, and
no.
It makes these games great. You know, if you're happy with just focusing on the game. You know, the happiness I get by spending some money here and there on that thing that I like, especially if it's a game that I enjoy, you know, a new skin or a new whatever that may be.
If there's a skin that you want, if there's something you like, then fucking get it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know, I just know that, I mean, the stats will tell you that like 50% of the revenue comes from 2% of the player base. You know, people who invest in buying into games do that. And that's the same for Ultimate Team on FIFA, it's the same for Fortnite and the skins, it's the same for Apex, it's the same for, you know, anything you can name. It's a very small fraction of the player base covering most of that revenue, because most people are like me, we're not going to buy, you know, extra stuff.
Yeah. But, you know, for every one of you, there's 20 other people that absolutely love that, and I see it all the time in games. I mean, you know how much these skins and things cost sometimes. I mean, but that's a conversation for an entire different show, I think. Last question from my side. What hardware do you jam on? Are you a console player, PC gamer?
Yeah, I'm a PC gamer. I've got a ROG 12 new setup that I just got from the guys. I've got a 2060 graphics card in there at the moment. I'm waiting for the 30 to arrive. As we know, globally, there's been issues with, chips and processors, and everything is shortaged all over the planet because of COVID and then wars and lockdowns and things. So we'll get that upgraded as we can at some point. Yeah, but yeah, my Asus rig is just stunning. Like,
And what did you say? You're running
really,
Intel,
really
right?
nice.
An Intel Core, 12th gen.
Yeah.
What do you think of it? It's nice. The
It's-
performance and efficiency
dude,
cores, those things work.
Yeah. It looked so smooth. The stuff we got to play with last week at the launch, it's such a nice, high powered, high profile. Like, it just feels so smooth to run everything on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, if I can make you jealous, I'm jamming the MSI Raider G76 12th gen
Ooh.
3070 Ti, 3080 Ti, sorry, 3070 Ti.
Oh.
Now, how do I forget that now? And dude, I'm editing video. So the main benefit for me is editing video, right? And the performance is just double what my previous machine was. Like, I can render higher res clips quicker. And it's just, as you know, it's just so nice to be able to do something that works. It just works.
Yeah, and this is the amazing thing, right? Like, don't you love the way the technology battle keeps up with itself? It's like things like rendering video takes too long, so we need smarter, more powerful gear so we can render faster. But as soon as we do that, they're like, cool, now you can do 4K. Now everything takes just as long as it did. Like
100%.
it's like you can't win. We can't get ahead of it. Yeah.
My thing has always been the software then goes, okay, cool, we'll make use of all those cores, and then everything else slows down again. So yeah, the software does tend to take it out of it. Rob, amazing to chat to you as always. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope to catch you on the Apex Apex Legends Battleground at some point. Maybe on
Come and find me. I'm happy to school some people with you.
Oh yeah, let's do it. I can't wait. Thanks, Rob. How's it, Chani? So I've been following you on social medias for quite a while now, where you've been coming up with all kinds of antics with your Sims. Like, I'm very fascinated by that. How's it? How are you doing? Welcome to the show.
I'm very, very well, thank you. Thank you for having me. Sims, I have been a Sims player since Sims 1 came out back in the day, and Sims 4 has definitely taken a very, very big forefront in my life. I adore my Sims. My Sims don't always adore me. They're always putting me through my paces. They're always causing chaos. But yeah, in the last, I want to say 2.5 years, I kind of completely switched focus from doing the esports stuff and the Call of Duty stuff, and I started streaming Sims because I've always been creating YouTube content around the Sims. And then when I started streaming, it opened an entirely different kettle of worms with the chaos that the Sims can get up to.
And I mean, this is probably the best case or use case best example of what AI can get up to if you let it loose in a game scenario, right? I mean, what are some of those weirdest moments that you've experienced with your Sims?
So I've had a couple of moments, but a standout one for me has to be in Sims 3. We were doing a bunch of throwback streams, and I did an April Fool's stream where carried on like nothing was happening, and my chat was like, but this isn't our regular challenge. I had recreated everyone from The Sims 4 and Sims 3. But I think the strangest thing I've had happen in my entire Sims career was in one of the throwback streams for Sims 3. Long story short, drama llama, Days of Our Lives type soap opera situation. I had convinced my now husband to leave his wife who was pregnant at the time. We got married. Long story short, she had the baby. We got an in-game notification to say, okay, so-and-so's had your baby. And I was like, cool, let's go meet the said baby at like 3 in the morning. And obviously Sims 3 was open world, open neighborhood, so zoned into where she was walking out of the house with the newborn, climbed into a cab, followed her along in the cab. Up she was going to the cemetery at 4 o'clock in the morning. Next thing, she's getting out at the cemetery, and she does like a full-blown Game of Thrones baby like sacrifice to the White Walkers, puts the baby down on a grave, and the baby disappears. And I'm like looking at chat, and I'm like, you're seeing this, right? This has actually happened. So that's probably the weirdest in Sims 3.
Damn.
Sims 4, I'm definitely not trying to put my Sim through her paces and have her try to have as many babies in one lifetime as possible. Definitely not currently on 232 babies, without her even having broken a sweat yet. But there have just been so many antics with that sim in particular, because I've been playing her for so long on stream. We started the challenge in January of 2021, and we're still going strong. I'm trying to get to 500 babies with one mother just to prove that it's possible within the broken mechanics of the Sims not being able to age when pregnant. So she's gotten up to all sorts of antics. She owns an army of 20 cow plants. It's definitely something. I have my elder children continually being eaten by said cow plants. We've had a really funny glitch recently where Sims continue to swim in the grass even though they're no longer in the pool, so they're swimming around in our backyard. So it's a wonderful time.
She's like, it sounds like, look into the future of AI. But I must be honest with you, as you're telling me about all these things you get up to, all I can see in my head is a Black Mirror episode and you behind the scenes being puppet master and some poor family going, boy, we landed up in a screwed up universe. Right?
I mean, baby challenge aside, where the Sims name that we're doing the challenge with us is Lacey, and chat adores her, I adore her, but she definitely, if I had to be in her shoes, continually having to have this like rolling door of just babies after babies, and then the second they've aged up from teenagers to adults, off they go, we're on to new babies. That baby challenge aside, I like to say that I look relatively well after my Sims, for the record. Ignoring that I have a bunch of elders locked in a house that they have access to food and water and toilets and showers. But, like, are they held there against their will? My chat would argue otherwise, but I think I am a gracious overlord in my Sims career.
Well, I guess people just have to go watch those streams to find out exactly what you get up to. Now, what is the future of Sims hold, do you think, for gamers? Is there some really interesting insights you have for us?
I wish I had interesting insights there. Sims 4 is still, they are beating that cash cow. I think I did the maths recently. If you had to, from scratch now, buy Sims 4 and all DLC, it's going to cost you upwards of 22,000 Rand. And that's lowballing it, not including bundles and specials and sales. That's like lowballing it because that was done a couple of DLCs ago. So Sims, they recently did a Maxis themselves, who are the company that make the Sims, obviously, along with EA. They recently did a rebrand, so there's a lot of talk and speculation about Sims 5. There's a lot of conversations around Sims 5 having an option for multiplayer. So I have my reservations about multiplayer in Sims, considering that it does have a T for T rating, and you are able to woohoo and you are able to have like romantic relations and all of those. So as long as they keep the online safety and like keep it to closed servers and stuff like that, I'm all for multiplayer, as long as I can also still treat my Sims with utmost dignity and wonderful types of caretaking situations in my own private world. But there is chatter about Sims 5, but it looks like, from my perspective, not having any insight, Sims 4 is going to run parallel with whatever game they release next, because they've invested so much time, effort, and energy, and they would have seen from Sims 3 still having so much playability, although no longer having support, that it's worthwhile. A lot of Sims players won't be jumping ship to Sims 5 the second it gets dropped either. So hopefully we get information about Sims 5 soon, because I'm always looking for the newer engines, the newer type of look and feel, because each Sims iteration has a very different, distinct art style. But Sims 4 has definitely taken over the number one spot for hours played in my life, at least, followed by Sims 2.
Wow. Yeah, look, I've certainly noticed that. It's impressive. Where can people find you on the internet?
So any social media site that matters, you'll be able to find me on Twitch and YouTube at ChaniZA, and then on any other platform it's Shani_ZA, because I can't remove the underscore. I've committed to it, but you can find me everywhere on the internet there.
Cool. Thank you. Now, in closing, I just want to say, with all the talk of DLC and this expensive pricing, all I would look forward to seeing is Sims Battle Royale mode. Thank you. Diablo Immortal's launched recently, and while the game is visually impressive, runs incredibly well on mobile and PC, has cross-platform play, cross-save, and is free to play, It has also been fraught with controversy from the moment it was announced at BlizzCon 2018. I mean, who can forget Red Shirt Guy?
Hey, just was wondering, is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke?
No, it's a fully fledged Diablo experience on mobile, which everybody will get to play. And
While fans were initially upset at the mobile-only launch plans, the real outrage came when gamers realized that Diablo Immortal is heavily, and I mean heavily, skewed towards a pay-to-play model. While this is nothing new in gaming, it was surprising to see one of the biggest game franchises ever take things this far. In essence, it comes down to this. Gamers soon realized that while it would take years to fully gear up a single character in Diablo Immortal, you can pay a seemingly unlimited amount of money in microtransactions to try and rank up to beat bosses and get better loot drops after each rift. Headlines have shown that gamers have spent upwards of 250,000 Rand in this game. In fact, Blizzard has shown incredible revenue streams since the game launched. A week or so ago, a headline from IGN.com read, Diablo Immortal's microtransactions have made the company $24 million in just 2 weeks since the game launched. Looking at App Magic, the game has received over 5 million downloads, and those numbers keep growing. The game's development team clearly had a brief given to them to exploit as much money as possible from the gamers. Everything from the massive discounts you get when you start the game, right up to the hidden legendary item slots that you only see once you have invested hundreds of thousands of rands into the first few. By then you are so deeply committed that psychologically you are more likely to keep paying. As someone who's playing this game with no intention of spending money on it, my future for playing it and enjoying this game looks grim. The pay-to-win aspects only kick in later in this game, so once you have committed all the hours, you are hooked. I'll need to pay cash to level up my gear to beat later bosses and get better loot dropped. If I don't do so, I'll find myself in the position of not being able to progress, as the grind to reach each of those levels will simply take years, literally. Now, this is not just a one-off thing either. Each season in Diablo Immortals will entice you with new things to buy and will undoubtedly introduce new levels of gear which you'll need to buy to progress. Also, these costs are per character, so if you switch characters, you're back to square one. No progression items or loot is carried over. Also, don't be thinking that spending money will actually get you the stuff you need or the rare items you want all the time. The game is still incredibly stingy and you'll be strung along for maximum profitability by the company. Rock Paper Scissors calculated that it costs around $51,000 or around 860,000 Rand to rank up your character as quickly as possible. I've left links to these stories and other videos in the comment section below, so do check them out before you spend money in this game. As someone who has spent a couple hundred Rand on skins and in-game items over the years, I understand what I'm buying and getting into. These items have no competitive advantage and I'm aware that I'm buying essentially a useless item. I buy it for fun. But to exploit gamers by preventing them to play the game unless they pay money to progress in the later game is what we have an issue with. But we seemingly are in the minority. This comment from James Francis kinda sums things up. If gamers hate microtransactions, why are these games so successful? We know it's inevitable, but there's a way to do things without it being so exploitative. Take Path of Exiles for example, a game that's been around for nearly a decade, with pay-to-play elements that are more balanced and not quite so out there to exploit the gamer. We want developers to make money to make better games. We don't want developers to make games that are out to mine us for our hard-earned cash. How do you feel about Diablo Immortals and microtransactions in general that are out there to exploit us for our money? Let us know in the comments below. I asked our NAG readers what they thought of Diablo Immortal, and this is what they had to say. Lawrence says, I really want to try it, but for moral reasons I refuse to download it and give Blizzard any positive stats. Dean says, played it on PC and really enjoyed it. He's a Blizzard fan, so no matter what they produce, he'll be playing it. Yaku says he'd love to play it on PS5. William says, I've played it on mobile since it was released and I love it. I mean, it's Diablo. I'm just grown and tired of the constant back and forth of paying and non-paying characters. He goes on to say that if he does hit a wall, he'll do some Elder Rifts or dungeon raids. There's also optional quests for the shadows to help you level to get some choice rewards, he says. I'm level 49 now, and if you know how to play, in my opinion, there's simply no reason to spend any moolah. Let us know how it goes, William. Sadly, the reality is that this game is skewed to pay for play gamers, and it's clearly exploitative. I want to believe it's not so, but Blizzard did us a dirty on this one. And that's it for episode 3 of The NAG Show. As always, if you'd like to be a part of the show and give us a review on a game you think you've earned the right to talk about, then drop us a comment below, or you can email us at aware@nagshow.co.za. You can also send us a voice note or video comment to our WhatsApp number, and you could be featured in an upcoming show. Until the next show, remember to spend your money wisely in games. There's no need to waste your hard-earned cash on items that ultimately have no value. Gaming should be fun, not financially crippling. NAG out.